It's not fair!
It's not fair! It's not fair!
It's not fair.
So have you ever had that feeling that life just isn't fair? Have you ever had that situation where you look at the circumstances and you're like, you know what, this just isn't right. This isn't equal. When we look at the story of the prodigal son in Luke 15, we see a story told by Jesus where a young son tells his father he wants half of his inheritance, and he goes off and he spends it all and blows it and makes a bunch of bad choices and ends up at the bottom of the barrel in life. Meanwhile, the older son, he stays at home and he does what he's supposed to. He is responsible. He takes care of the farm. He takes care of his parents. And then when the younger son comes home, the father doesn't chastise him, doesn't threaten him, doesn't disown him, doesn't do anything that probably the younger son deserves. Instead, he hugs him and he throws him a party. But you see, when the older son, the one who's been doing everything right and being responsible, hears the music, finds out about this party that his father's thrown for his younger brother, he's angry. He's angry because the instant reaction is, that's not fair. And you know what? I think we all can relate to that.
It's not fair! It's not fair!
You see, the problem isn't that the older son doesn't have a point. I mean, if you look at things through the lens of fairness, if that's your measuring stick, then yeah, things are unfair. But they're unfair for the wrong reason. The older son hasn't been cheated of anything. He has all the inheritance that was promised to him and coming to him. In fact, the father says to him, everything I have is yours. Why are you upset? What the older son's really upset about is that the younger son is not getting what he deserves. And that's the wrong perspective. And that perspective that the older son has is distorting and blocking him from seeing the great love and grace that his father has shown his younger son, younger brother. And so maybe for you, you're sitting here and you're like, you know what? There's parts of my life that are unfair. I want to invite you to just check yourself this Christmas season. Do I view it as unfair because somebody else is getting what they don't deserve? Am I upset because God is gracious and merciful? See, the minute you start to view life as fair or unfair, you can't see love. You can't see grace and mercy. And that kind of perspective is only born out of an idea that I deserve more than I'm getting. But the reality of everything, what the Bible says, is that we all are giving grace from God. Romans 3:23 says all of us have sinned and fall short of God. Everything God has done, from Jesus to the cross to everything, is all an act of grace and mercy. It's an extravagant love action. And you and I are called to be extravagant lovers to the world. So the debate isn't whether what happened to you is not fair. The debate isn't about whether things are equal or not equal. The debate is whether it's okay to live in that attitude, in that perspective. And I would say that if you live in the attitude of fairness, if you view everything through deserve or not deserve, you will never see God's love in action. This Christmas, how about if we focus on God's love? And we start with God's love for you. He loves you. He's already given everything you need, and you deserved none of it. That's grace. That's mercy. That's Christmas. That's love. So when you think of a baby in a manger and you hear the Christmas carols, let it remind you of love in action. God's love for you, reaching down to you, reaching down to me when we did not even deserve it. And then that'll prompt us to stop viewing the world through fairness and only giving people what they deserve, and instead just become lovers. That's what God's called us to, and that's what it means to live in His upside down kingdom.